Hi everyone. There's been a lot of talk about new light lately, hasn't there? I don't need those on now because you'll hear it coming back in your ears. It can be a bit off-putting. But as long as it's synchronized, then you've got nothing to worry about, have you? Yeah, well, all this talk of new light. I never really liked that expression, new light. I always felt as if it was a bit of a cop-out. For me, it was. I kind of agree with what my dad said. Whenever there's been like an adjustment within the organisation back in the 70s and 80s, and my dad's opinion was there's a moving of the goalpost. Of course, you know it today as new light. But my dad used to say, I think they're moving the goalpost because they'll have made predictions up to this point. It hasn't happened. And so they've got to move the goalpost to a new location. So that's what my dad used to refer to it as. And I kind of respect my father for his honesty back then. It took quite a lot for my dad to get baptised because, it just wasn't easy for him. But eventually he did get baptised, and I believe that a lot of men, they will go into the Jehovah's Witness religion because of their wives. It's their wives that get hooked first. This is just my opinion. So their wives get hooked first on, wouldn't it be great to live in a world where there's, all the spiel. Then they start to love the association, right, with the other sisters. And then the wives then invite their husbands, who were still not in the Jehovah's Witness faith at that point, to come along to one of the get-togethers. Might be a barbecue, which is what happened in Sydney, Australia. We used to go to the basin just outside Sydney, and that was very nice for all the children, all the sisters and all the brothers to get together, to have this barbecue, play games, do all sorts of things. And I think a lot of men go into that religion because of something similar to that. And it's because they love their wives, they're good husbands, not terrible husbands. These are really good people. My dad was a wonderful, wonderful man with really, really upright principles. But they love their wives so much that they're willing to let their wives go to 5 meetings a week. That's what it was back then, 5 meetings a week. And I just think that takes a special person and a special man to do that. Now, I've known in the past where a couple of husbands haven't fallen and been brainwashed or anything like that, and they've seen the Jehovah's Witnesses as a modern religion that is, stifling them. They were okay before that. Their wives were subservient, doing what they wanted, and then all of a sudden their wives are now making time for this religion. Having to get X amount of hours in. And that has impacted on a lot of husbands who, haven't at that moment swallowed the bait. So it took quite a while for my dad to swallow that bait, and eventually he did. And then he got himself baptised just before me, a few years before me. I think it was around about 77. My dad got baptised. I got baptised around about 1980. I think it was around about that. Colin, my brother, he got baptised around about the same time. And I just feel as if they're throwing out this new light now, it's because they'll have got to a point where things are not happening. So it's like something has run aground, almost. And to get themselves back into the flow of things, they call it new light. And it's a very, very unfortunate term, isn't it? Because people can now use it and ridicule them with it. Oh, it's the Jehovah's Witnesses again. They've just changed one of their principles now because of new light. And it's that reason why I just don't like the phrase. I'd simply rather just say, oh, they've just moved the goalpost back a few hundred yards, a few more years, because Armageddon's late. The Great Tribulation has not happened. That is the way I would like to remember it, the way my dad did. So at the moment, I'm downstairs. I don't know, let's move them away. And my overhead camera today is the Lumens, hold on, picture in picture. The Lumens 511 or CL 511. And it's a document camera. And with it being a document camera, it's perfect for following along with the leafy scriptures, which leads me to another question. Do you miss flicking through those scriptures? Do you miss that? Or do you quite like the modern era of the quickness and the speed and pace of an app finding those scriptures, you know, at lightning? I don't know myself. I mean, I'm sort of torn between two. I love technology, don't get me wrong. That's why I have a lot of cameras, a lot of gear. But there was something very, very personal about flicking through the leafy scriptures. You know, it was really hands-on, wasn't it? To be going through this the old-fashioned way. That's the kind of thing I miss. Of course, you get the young people in the Kingdom Hall now, and they just love, don't they? You know, I mean, I'm pretty quick on it myself on that app, but it just takes the enjoyment out for me. And that's what I wanted to say. So it's a two-part video, really. It's New Light, which I just call moving the goalpost, and how I miss the leafy scriptures and flicking through them and feeling each leaf with my finger. I miss all that. How about you guys? See ya.